So today I made over 100% day trading SPY put options, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the exact strategy I use, exactly where I entered, where I exited, why I entered there, why I exited there, and all the stuff you need to know. So hopefully you can get some free value and education out of this video and model it for yourself. So with that being said, let's go ahead and go into the computers and start this trade recap. All right, so today is Thursday, February 9th, and this is the trade that I took today. As we can see, we used around $3,300. We ended up making around $35.10 on this trade, which brings us to 106% on this trade. So that being said, let's go ahead and go over the trade recap, exactly why I entered, exited, everything I was looking at. All right, so as you can see, I ended up entering around right here at this level. So let's go ahead and go into my actual trading chart and kind of show you my thought process of why I entered. As you can see, we were in puts, and I got down way down here after this big initial flush that we got. All right, as you can see, this is my charts. These are the zones I was looking at. Red means supply, green means demand. I mainly am a supply and demand trader. So we're on a 5-minute time frame. This is kind of what happened overnight. And then as you can see where we got volume down here, this is where the market opened. All right, so let me actually zoom into this so you can kind of see a more clear picture. So we initially opened up here. This is the ES. This is mainly what I look at when I do trade SPY options. So as you can see, we're at that 4160 area. This is where we opened. I was originally looking for a move into this 4172. We kind of got there during pre-market, and we are looking like we're making these lower highs pretty much throughout the past week, okay? So for me, my bias was a little bit on the downside already going into today. I thought we'd see a run up, but we didn't, right? So you kind of have to prepare for all possibilities. Now, if we look at this, right, when the market initially opened, as you can see, the first hour of the day, it was very choppy. It was very choppy. Price wasn't really moving anywhere, which basically means that it's kind of a balanced day. So there's two kinds of days, you know, in the market. There's a balanced day and there's an imbalanced day. A balanced day is basically when bears and bulls are kind of equal, right? Price is, you know, going up and down this whole entire time. So let's actually go into a 1 minute just so you can see how choppy it was this morning, right? This was the first hour of the day, just, you know, chopping back and forth, you know, making it look like we wanted to break out, making it look like we want to break down. This is where a lot of retail traders can really get trapped, including myself sometimes, right? So anyways, since we saw such a balanced day, we didn't really see any breakouts or breakdowns on this initial zone. You know, for me, I was looking for something to happen, right? Some volume to come in, and then I would actually go and look for a trade. Okay, so that's kind of what I did. And, you know, it's hard to stay patient when you're just watching price action for an hour or so. But it finally happened. As you can see, around an hour into the market, this is 7:22 Mountain Standard Time where I live. As we can see, we finally got this big breakdown past this level. It was, you know, pretty much trading out. Got this big breakdown. So for me, when we got this big breakdown, the next support line was this 4135, and then the main zone I was watching was this 4120, which we eventually got to. Okay, so we'll go over that in a second. So basically what I was looking for was, once we got this initial breakdown, we got some volume. As you can see, the volume was higher on this breakdown than it was at the open, which is pretty rare. This told me that there's more participants, right? There's more participants, and there's more of an imbalance, right? The market was balanced. Now it's starting to get more imbalance, obviously on the sell side. So what I was looking for was a run back up to this 5-minute supply. Okay, so let me go to the 5-minute chart. Like I said, I mainly trade supply and demand zones. So for me, I'm always looking at, you know, trading the trend, but also using supply and demand. So the trend was down, so I was looking for a pop-up to this 5-minute supply zone. So if you're wondering how I got this box here, I was basically taking this green candle. So this is like a basing candle, and then we had a huge move down. So whenever you're looking for supply or demand zones, you want to see big moves down with, you know, usually the opposite color of where it's going. So if it's a big move down, I'm looking for a green candle that kind of based it out. This usually tells me where a lot of limit orders were set and price could potentially move back up there And this would be like an A+ setup for me, right? It's more of a scalp because keep in mind we're on a 5-minute time frame. But this is kind of what I was looking for. Unfortunately, we never got it, right? We came up to this initial level, this 41.52, kind of where we were trading at this morning. And you know, I didn't take the trade. For me, I wanted to wait till we got to this level. We never got it. So, you know, again, this is where you have to stay patient with your trading. So we got this big gap down again, right? And then we got this gap back up. And again, I was looking for another supply zone because the trend was down. So I'm looking for a big pop so I can take puts on it. And ideally enter on a supply zone because that would be multiple confirmations for me. So if I can enter on a supply zone with the trend down, that's 2 confirmations for me. That gives me the AOK to typically take the trade, right? Plus we had high volume. So what did we look at again? We looked at another supply zone that I drew. As we can see, right? Same concept as this one. If I zoom in here so you guys can see better, right? We had this basing candle and then a big drop down, just like we did earlier, what I was looking for in this supply zone. So again, we draw this box from the top of the wick on this basing candle to the bottom of the body, right? That's my supply zone. And you know, we got this big drop down, and I drew this box after we got this big flush down, that because that's basically told me there was a lot of sellers there. Okay, so again, what I would do, I'm looking for a move back into the supply zone, which we eventually got. If you stay patient enough, a trade will come to you. The biggest mistake that I made, and I know a lot of beginners make, is you're trying to chase trades rather than letting trades come to you. And this is where I let this trade come to me. And what do you know? We hit the supply zone literally to a T, hit this bottom of the body right here. And this is where I actually got my entry. So if we go back to right here, as you can see, this is where I got my entry. And like I said before, my main target all day was this 41.20, right? This is the main demand zone. We did have support at 41.35, but as you can see, we just broke through it strong, right? We got a very strong bearish candle, very strong bearish candle again. So this tells me like this zone isn't really valid anymore, right? So I'm actually going to delete this right now, just because we got this strong breakthrough down. And once we got around to this zone, this is where I took my profit, somewhere over here. So that was kind of what I was looking at. Now, if you're wondering, how do I get this 41.20 zone? Okay, so as you can see, it's marked 30-minute. These would be marked 5-minute. I just didn't label them just because I just drew these boxes a few hours ago. But 30-minute, okay? So what's cool about supply and demand zones is you can find them on any time frame. Okay, so if I go to a 30-minute chart, let's go ahead and show you how I found this demand zone, potentially where, you know, my target was. Obviously, now we're way lower than that. So I would have made way more money if I held this trade, but you know, you can't be perfect with trading. So as we can see, right, same thing here. Demand zone, it's the opposite of what a supply zone, of how you draw it. So as we can see, we got a big move up, right? Massive move up a few days ago when some news came out. And as we can see, we had this basing candle, right? So what do? I draw from the top of the wick to the bottom of the body, right? And this is exactly where I got my zone. Top of the wick, bottom of the body. And usually price will start to bounce at the top of the wick. Or if sellers are strong enough, it'll keep going down like it did today. So that's kind of where I got my zone. That's where I took my profits. I was happy with that. 100% in a trade, you can't really beat that. So anyways, this is my trade recap. This is how I made over 100% on SPY puts. Like I said, supply and demand zones work on pretty much any time frame, depending on how long you actually plan on holding the trade, if you're more of a scalper, more of a day trader. So if you guys are going to take anything away from this video, just remember this: don't chase trades, let the trades come back to you. If you miss your entry, they'll usually come back. Wait for the volume to kick in. Don't get chopped up in the first, 5 minutes or the first hour of the market where it's just super choppy. This tells me it's more of a balanced market. Wait for some big moves to come in and then ride the trend down, right? Wait for the trade to come to you, ride the trend down. Look for those supply zones and look for those multiple confirmations. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video on the exact strategy I used to make over 100% day trading SPY put options. And real quick, before you guys go, if you want more detail on exactly how I trade and actually see my exact system I look at while I trade, be sure to download a free copy of my day trading guide. Like I said, it's going to show you pretty much everything you need to know to get started day trading as a beginner. So anyways, if you want a free copy of this guide, all you have to do is go to the first link in the description below, or just head over to this link right here. With that being said, guys, as always, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Trade smart, trade safe. Be sure to subscribe if you're new and you want more videos like this, and I will see you in my next video.